J.R. Hendrick, Texan consort, and gentlemen, podcast of the early life of yours truly in a narrative commentary. Hey everybody, Jimmy here. We're drinking some water, stay busy today, trying to line up some customers. We're going to a convention in March 10th and 11th. The company I'm a part of, ACM, they have a 30-year anniversary convention in March in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's going to be called Elevate. Okay, anyway, I digress. We better get in between. I'll be drinking some water. Alright? Now, so let me get some things together here. Alright. So we're looking for January 30th, 1995. Okay, from last time, Christine joined forces with JR to undercut their father on a press release. After prayer with her pastor and Jim reluctantly agrees with Betsy about an open relationship as she takes her mother and leaves for Ocean City, Maryland. Bumping into Jim's protege, Cadence, Claude tries unsuccessfully to lobby some congressional Democrats in the South for the oil industry. The next day, he forms a new crew who works with Senate Republicans briefly and gets to the support of Senator Bob Dole. Okay, so it's in the morning, I guess around 7 a.m. And Christine rushes off the door to go to school, and Amy Kathleen runs after him. You know, she's trying to be friendly. So, why are you rushing out the door? And she said, well, I have a meeting with my tutor. You know, and Amy Kathleen always this Norman Rockwellian meets high society model family. Said, I need to stay for family. You need to stay for family breakfast. But the thing is, Christine is stuck on trying to wrap in some loose ends after that press release. And Amy Kathleen, she's like, I'm just glad you're getting along with JR. So, Sarge walks out and she says, hi, Christine, Amy Kathleen. And, you know, one thing that Amy Kathleen's like, well, hey, Sarge, I want you to know, Christine says working for Uncle Jim is hard. And so Sarge's like, hey, can you just get me out of school? She says, not today, I have a meeting with my tutor. Okay. Just then, Christine's cell phone rings. It's obvious it's JR. And her father comes out with his blue eyes flaring, stomping his feet. And he's like, Christine, I need to talk to you now. And, he's trying to explain the situation. I don't know, Daddy, wait a minute. The SBA approved that loan application for Ferdinand Aguilar. It was a sweet little deal. A sweetheart little JR is trying to defend. Christine's like, look, I got friends, Daddy. But they know more about the media than you do. And so, Jim's trying to, he's one of his father. You should have consulted me. $100,000 loan without talking to me. And Christine loses their top. You see, Christine is more like her father than JR is. Like, excuse me, father. In the usual line compass there, it's like, you're a dog. You're not just a dog, Dad. You're a bonehead. Your supervisor approved of this, It's like, I don't know, but it's not listening to you. And JR's pretty angry still. So long, Daddy. And so, Jim walks alongside Sarge. The son I never had, them two. Some kids are gonna, they're driving me crazy. Come on, Sarge, I'll drive you to school. So it's 10 a.m. Eastern. And Betsy is in the main entrance foyer by the staircase. And of course the phone rings. And who would it be? Charlie. And if Charlie's happy that somebody's with JR and their roommates, he's pouring on the charms, It's Betsy, you never cease to amaze me. How you handle it. But I'm glad you agree with Jimmy and JR about that press release. He's like, here it is, their father pulls around as poor JR is put through the ringer up in Phoenix. You asked me to rescue him. See, yeah, he said, oh, I rode to the rescue, just like you said. If you ask me, it's pathetic. Charlie is being charming to JR's mother, not knowing him. In some ways, she kind of can't stand him. She's like, look, my kids know what they're doing. As for my husband, there is no excuse for his recent behavior. And it's going to take me a long time to forgive him. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern. We are in a main hallway of Ascension Hills College. Now, for those of you who don't know, it's actually Ascension Christian College. This whole thing takes place in almost like a parallel universe. It's Earth, but it's a lot more exploratory. And so, I met Kathleen, and she gives her dad the call. And lets her know what's going on with regards to Christine, Jim and JR. And Tom Uncle Tom says, well, I'll just keep an eye on things for you, okay? I promise. 1 p.m. Central. Gerald's in media writing class, and he's dealing with the feature reporting. So an hour later in D.C., Christine is meeting with Francis Blackwell and his little niece, Sally. Now, Sally plays an integral role later. She ends up flying back to Lubbock to, do graduate classes. And, Christine drinks a water and, of course, one of the secretaries gives Blackwell a Shirley Temple. See, the Blackwells are a prominent family. But Francis Blackwell, he don't drink. Okay, so now it's 2 p.m. and the jailer's over there in the Center for Public Affairs. And he knows about, he finds out about how Christine's meeting with Francis Blackwell and Sally. Now, J.R. dated Sally briefly when he was lobbying in Austin. Somebody had been pushing Christine about arranging. Okay, here's the thing. He's saying, hey, if you can help us push for this loan for partners in Mississippi, we may be able to help you speak this weekend. So, in a way, Francis is like, I wish you'd consult with your dad a little bit more. And he's like, I'm beginning to think that you're biting off more than you could chew, juggling school and working for a father. So, you gotta think about that. So, the loan is actually for Floyd Mayweather. It's an $18,000 loan to transfer integrated circuits coming in from China in the Mississippi River. Okay, now 3 p.m. Arlington, Virginia. Claude's condo. Okay, he's charging in, suit and tie and cowboy hat, and he's yelling at his fiance, hey, I'm expecting company here, I want this place clean, tidy. And he kisses his fiance, kind of says, hey, nice work on the massage, pretty lady. Claude is showing a little bravado here, right? So he sits down in his recliner, and along comes Jim, saying, Claude, dude, what's up? They shake hands and sitting down. Claude's like, I'm engaged. 3 weeks and I'm engaged. Let me tell you something. That's important, friend, dude. And Jim's like, always got to have that bird, Claude. Something always matters about you. And Claude, he's got this expression thinking, well, not like you ain't so out yourself, where's your assistant? Meaning Cadence. On his way. And Claude's got this puzzled skeptical look in his eye. Sometimes he always says, don't know, Jim, but I don't know if that kid really has what it takes. And so this young kid, 25-year-old, named Cadence, well, like 26, walks in and says, hey. And Claude's like, hey, Katie, we're just talking about you. You're just prattling. You know how it is. And Caden's like, okay, so what's going on? And he said, Claude is trying on his French because he's been in Louisiana. He's going, Ami de travail. I got my good at French. I'm joining with a consortium that wants to lobby for some offshore contracts, Florida, and more particularly California. And so Jim stood up and faced his friend, and spoke up. And he said, did you talk to Andy Braddock? Okay, so Andy Braddock is a partner of theirs. Probably not, probably from the wildcatting days, probably not. And Charlie's like, well, yeah, he's in the Fez in Naval Hospital, having his files cleaned out. Jim's bowed up and said, well, he's got Addison's disease. And Claude says, this project works, 20% saved for you. And Jim says, I don't know. Claude, I got this political appointment, I can't do that. And Claude says, actually, yes, you can. In your absence, I learned how to set a few accounts in escrow, and I'm going to save it in my name, and then when your appointment is over, it goes to you. And Jim's kind of like, hey, if it wasn't even for Andy Braddock, you wouldn't even have the power to lobby for this. And Cadence spoke up and he said, and Andy Braddock, he looked the house like I can't even believe. And so Claude, the villain Samus? Okay, it's almost like Claude goes all Samus on him, puts his finger in Cadence's face, and then turns back and does the same thing to Jim. As for you, young man, better than Andy Braddock is here. As for you, Jim, I owe you. So that money gets saved. And Jim's like, after this? He said, after this, we talk about it. But in the meantime, this is what's going on. At sunset, there's a special session on the house floor. Now, Daddy's little helper, that's kind of his term towards Cadence right now. You'll be in the gallery observing the polling and everything. Jim, You'll be on the House floor working some of the congressmen from California. Janet's got some friends that can easily help me with this to victory. Some of the, I'm sorry, Jim, this is all mine. And so, Cadence is protesting, Okay, my part's easy, Cadence said. And, of course, Claude's going and bowling him. Jim, got to be kidding me. This kid's jacked. So, Cadence spells up, and he's like, go to hell. And he said, kid, I was wrong last week. You got spunk. Come on, let me take you to Capitol Hill. And Jim's kind of like, Claude, don't act a fool. And Claude's like, you're not my master, old friend. Get Jim ready to go to Capitol Hill when the time is right. Okay, so they hop into this little rental Jeep pickup. And it's almost like Cadence is, he's treating him like he's like a high school kid, Claude is, it's like a drill sergeant ordering him around. He tells him exactly where to perch at the house gallery. He also informs him of a project he's saving 20% on that deals with real estate at the bottomless lake in Roswell, New Mexico. This may appear later on, not in this episode, but in some other episodes in this series. Okay, 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so he's in the house gallery, and Cadence calls him and says, hey, Jim, let me know when you're in position. Okay, so it's 6 p.m. The sun set, Capitol Hill shining over the Potomac, and Jim walks into the House chamber. There is a hearing of the House Energy Committee. He says, all right, son, I'm in position. And he's kind of like, Claude, I can't believe you walked me into this. So Claude picks 4 people for him to talk to, mostly in California. So the Claude did the legwork while he was working in the SBA in Washington, D.C. Okay. $7:30. They left the Capitol and bounded down the Capitol steps when suddenly a white limousine pulls up. And out steps Andy Braddock. Hey, sir, good to see you, but what are you doing here? Cadence asked. And Jim said, well, you're supposed to have stood to be sick. Claude says, you're in the hospital. And Andy's, he's pissed. Puts his finger in Claude's face. Yes, I should have stood in bed. But certain known associates are lobbying certain states regarding offshore drilling without consulting me or other members of the consortium. There's a senator in Maryland who's going to make sure our consortium now is chewed and barbecued because of you guys. And Claude Cadence is like, what about the senator from Maryland, sir? I see nobody told you. Nobody consulted you like nobody consulted me. Jim's like, Andy, Claude's here to talk to you. And, of course, Claude's man says, you can pass it in the House, but it's DOA in the Senate. I'm warning you. Jim's like, this is the last time, Claude. And Claude whispers in Jim's ear as Janet takes hold of his arm. I'm trying to do you some favors. How about that? Cadence, come on. We're going back to work for the government tomorrow. This fool can do whatever he wants. So, Claude and Janet go to a nearby bar where Claude drinks his sorrow. Jim drops off Cadence to the house in Washington, D.C. A lot of excitement here. This issue is going to be revisited in another episode. Alright, we're on January 31st, 4 a.m. To the Richland, Jim reaches for the copy of the Fort Worth Times. On the front page is a real estate project that also involved drilling for oil at Bottomless Lake in New Mexico. It's always he's furious with Claude from working in House floor last night. When 9 congressmen from California and Florida, who initially supported Claude's proposal, realized it was DOA in the Senate, okay. So, 5 a.m. Eastern. Betsy wakes up and goes down to the Richland Chapel to pray. Today's routine with her was this, a few hours of prayer and talking to Pastor Matt this morning. Attending a speech by Elizabeth Marie this afternoon. On Thursday, she would be taking her mother. Actually, she changed her mind and decided to go Wednesday, I believe, and going to Dallas. 6:10 in the morning, BC, at the Richland. Jim is watching CBMC where Blake Carter, who ironically has an early morning show, which he knew nothing about. Now, 7:30 a.m. Okay, so 7:30 a.m. in Lubbock. Gerald stomped away from the library to Center for Public Affairs. He went to the library because he got a voicemail last evening from the state caseworker, essentially vision impaired. They called up Miss Bletchnauer, clean out, or reorganize the locker or else. So JR cleans out his locker, leaves the key, and Charlie puts in a surprise. The Bud of Mary Jane. So, Dr. Harmon had told JR that there were lockers for him at the Center for Public Affairs library, and seeing that it had all the technology he needed, he wasn't going to be studying at the library anymore, not this semester. JR's surprise came when Sally Blackwell came in. She was on the phone to her Uncle Francis. He's insisted he spoke to JR. And so Francis tells about this $18,000 loan. Christine's going to push it through. Anything Christine is behind, I support. And Gerald, he and Christine are always close. Just as Sarah has some Snapple in study Carol, this phone rings. It's Christine. Well, according to the Blackwells, you're doing great. And she said, I'm glad to see things my way. And Gerald's like, don't quit on Daddy yet. We're not done yet. And she says, look, don't waste your breath on me just because we can't get along with Daddy. Now I gotta go to class. Okay, so it's 12:30 p.m. Central. Media JR is in Dr. Harmon's office. And he's like, look, Christine and my sister and I, we're combining our efforts against our father. And Harmon's like, ethically, it's none of my business, but who cares? You see, Harmon likes to ride the edge of controversy. And Charlie's like, Charlie's helping me with that, making that all better. I braved the snow to come here, you wanted to see me, and I need help completing my independence. So, Harmon is kind of one of those methodical type people. He's like, methodically, this is what I wanted. See you declare independence from your maniacal father. Ethically, I can't give you an inside track on your father's politics right now. But one thing I want to ask you to do about Charlie, be careful. So it's 1 p.m. Central, and JR's having lunch with Karen Kreider at Machiavelli's near Lubbock University College. And Karen's like, well, glad you finally answered my call. And Gerald's like, look, I formed independence with my dad, my dad's dictatorship. My sister and I have formed our own republic. But I need help with war terms. Times are tough. And then Kieran's like, oh, this is our place to come. I'm just blown away and excited that you agreed, that we need to trust each other again, Karen said. But this time, I'm not the hands that feed you. And Gerald's like, look, I still want Jennifer. But, she's going to get lonesome in Lubbock sometimes. I'd like to come see you, maybe have a good time. And, their relationship, it's on and off in love, but always platonic. And she gets all excited. I like that. Give me a good time. So Gerald's sitting there with his cane. It's obvious it's snowing and stuff. He's braving the snow, in some cases without a coat. And that at some point is going to come bite him. 7 p.m. Central. At the Richland, dinner is running a little late when Gerald calls Betsy. And Gerald's like, how are you, Mama? And she said, you're doing great. Elizabeth Reed walks in, she's wearing a blue jumpsuit. And she asks Jim, Uncle Jim, can I have a pool party for my friends tomorrow? Maybe have the servants make some Texas barbecue for Frank. And Jim's like, ask Miss Betsy. And Betsy's like, well, what kind of person is he? And she's like, he's a hard worker, honest person, Elizabeth Marie said. And then Gerald's like, going to law school, right? Well, maybe pair you together, we can be lawyer and government relation consultant at Hendrick Law. And she says, well, he's not now, he's working at the business school cafeteria. And so JR brightens up. He's like, better yet, honey, I can see me and him go into the health food services business together. Christine's trying to deflect. So can I have this party, Uncle Jim, please? And Jim's like, he's making himself another drink. Ask Miss Betsy. And Betsy's like, go ahead. I don't care. I'll give it the servants to mix it for you, and everything. We'll be ready for you after school. He's like, Gerald, how are you and Charlie? And he said, he left me alone tonight holding the bag off to his frat brothers. So it's 7:15 p.m. and he's sitting in the dorm room on the couch and kind of feeling dejected. I can't believe Charlie would stand me up for this. For his frat brothers. And Kevin McDonald said, well, I could have told you that, Charlie. I could take you to dinner. And Charlie's like, and Gerald's like, well, actually, relax. I got this. I got to back up, have dinner at Max Steakhouse with a crush I had, Sally Blackwell. And so Kevin McDonald's like, Sally Blackwell? You mean an heiress of the precious metals fortune in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and Texas? The same. Don't weigh that, Gerald says. So it's 7:30 p.m. In Lubbock, and this steakhouse, and Gerald walks up. It sounds like it's been a long time, JR. And he said, Well, when I heard your sweet little molasses voice, I just thought of those marvelous little times we had. Yeah, a little history lesson. In the late spring, early summer of 1988, them two used to walk hand in hand at night after pressing the flush of lobbying. And she says, yes, but after a week, I told you I wanted Mike Farble. Too bad he turned into some DC player. Well, I have a new proposition. This can help both of us. We can help each other. And she said, considering the birds of a feather who love things political on the up and up, you want me to help you incline someone. And J.R. said, that $18,000 loan. Now, if I know Daddy, he's going to want to delay it. Call Mill Mayor. Tell him to get the administrator to push that loan application through. Okay, so Sally and JR, they're giggling. She said, I'll help to be able to wage war and independence from your father. Because I think that was a sticking point in their relationship. Okay, so it's 8:15 p.m. Jim and Betsy talk in the living room of the Richland. And Jim says, Betsy, I don't know what to do, but JR, he's a rebellion one. Why he listens to his to his sister. And Christine's like, Jim, Christine hardly said anything to me at breakfast. She's cool to Amy Kathleen. We don't have a family. We have a war zone. Jim's like, what do you want? You want Kyle up in here? And she says, well, no, I'm not, She said, all hopes I have of a normal family here is gone, Jim. Don't try to correct it. So, Betsy gets up and going up the stairs, and Claude moves to the living room, and they have a little drink. So it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Elizabeth Marie and Frank are talking in his apartment in Royal Front, Virginia. And after a little give and take, he decides, yeah, okay, I'll come. Now, we go, wait a minute, February 1st, 2 a.m. So, Betsy wakes up and finds Claude, he's just sprawled up in the living room. And so she wanted to be at the airport at 4:30 with her mom to go to Dallas, okay? Now, 6 a.m. Central. Charlie, he's sitting bottom step of the pool. And he's dawdling on the shallow end. He picks up his cell phone. What does he do? He calls Christine. And he's charming her, Oh, pretty senorita, going to school. And she says, why are you calling me, You've been a little creepy. And He said, he's pouring on the Charlie. I just love a little pretty little lady who will side with her brother. You and JR against your dad. What do you want, Charlie? He's like, hey, don't be so tight. I'm congratulating you. Be patient. They will come and Daddy will let you do what you want after school again. And Claude said, hang up the phone. Goodbye, pretty lady. Okay, then JR comes out, okay? He's like in this red and black jumpsuit with this Texas Tech shower cap. Because Bessie says, if you go on spring practice, ever since prep school, if you go on spring practice, Cheryl, you gotta wear a shower cap. Be the gentleman. And then Charlie, he turns into drill sergeant. What are you doing standing there? Let's go, hurry up. And so before you know it, JR's, he bounces from his suit, and Charlie's like a slave driver. He was charismatic towards JR, and it's cool. Now he turns slave driver. Okay, same time lapse. Amy Kathleen goes downstairs at the Richland, and the phone rings. Surprise for 5, it's for her. Greg invites her for lunch, and the possibility of them both seeing her mother, Diane, who was flying in from El Paso. Okay, Amy Kathleen is excited, and so she tells Christine, but Christine gives her an icy, whatever expression. Amy Kathleen politely walks away. Now 6:30 a.m. Central. Back at the ceiling, JR and Charlie converse in the shallow end of the pool. Charlie, who was you talking to? What's wrong? Don't trust my jets? But it was your sister. But she's older. I'd snag her. And Charlie and JR says, number one, there's no way my daddy and I would let you get your hands on my sister. Number two, you've been too creepy for my taste. And Charlie's like, number one, your daddy is too heartless to care. Number two, some good gentleman doesn't snack her. She can be pregnant by the time she's 20. And JR's like, Charlie, don't be pathetic. Okay, 8 a.m. Central. With government offices and the grade school classes being closed because of a blizzard that was impacting 17 states, Jim was not willing to just sit around the mansion and watch as he put these little kids' pool party and kids take over everything, So he decided to go to Clyde and then for an ice hockey game in Arlington, Virginia. 9 a.m. Central. JR takes a break from studying for his government relations management class to call Kim. Something's wrong, buddy. What is it? He said, I just know I'm going to get a big Horton. He's going to send me a letter saying that Dr. Spock wants to talk to me. I'm not talking to Brad. He said, you sound tired and angry. You know, there's something going on between you and Charlie. And he's like, Jared's angry. Leave Charlie out of this. I'm talking about Brad. He betrayed me, stabbed me in the back. I don't want to talk to him. And I know you agree. Yeah. But you don't sound too good, buddy. Are you taking your medication? Not totally. And Ken, his best friend, was, oh man, I swear, I'm going to have to drive up to you and give you a kick in the butt. Take your meds. Okay, so it's 9:30 a.m. in Gainesville. Betsy and Elizabeth arrived at the Gainesville mansion, and the private nurse puts Elizabeth in her bedroom. Betsy goes upstairs to put everything in for Jared and Charlie's arrival. 1 p.m. Eastern. At the home office, Jim walks in to look at some information Claude gave him about the Bottomless Lake development. Something which he would not take part of, but he knew that Claude was putting something in escrow in 20% saved. And so Christine is meeting with Brady Hood, a loan officer from Greenwich, Connecticut, who did work with the Small Business Administration, who agreed to help speed up the application, seeing what's going on. Jim surprisingly congratulates his daughter for her quick thinking. Now, at the same time, Greg and Amy Kathleen get out of class, and Greg is anxious to get her out of there and go grab some lunch. 3 p.m. Eastern. It's Richland, Arlington, Virginia, and Frank parked he's got a 92 Mustang. He parks at the entrance. All of a sudden, two guys came out and say that they're going to wash and wax his car. You know, when he's proud as a peacock, strutting, saying, "Oh, this is the life." And so he's waiting, and the servants are in the kitchen making pork spare ribs, and all the college kids are in the pool. They're having a good time, and Elizabeth Lee gladly meets him. Finally, one of her friends, a college junior, held up his girlfriend. "Who's willing to bet $400 to play chicken?" the man said. And Frank, he's asking, what's the rules? Elizabeth Marie runs into the changing room, grabs her wallet, gets one and says, "You're on." And so Frank, he jumps into the pool with her and says, "Come on, baby, let's do this. I think I'm in love." Okay. part of me thinks this could be a warning sign of things to come. User loser. User loser. Who thinks he's a young rich girl magnet? Drinking some water and hoping that Elizabeth already sees through that. Okay, 6:38 p.m. Central. JR's agonizing in pain. Charlie comes in and just bangs on the door. It's like, come on, be out the door now. We're going to the frat house. And he's like, I ain't feeling so good, Charlie. I have a stomach ache. Melts all the time. And Charlie's like, out the door. Charlie's like, and Jared's like, damn it. And Charlie said, out the door. So they walk out to the stretch limo in the snow. Like the moon is glistening and everything, and they get in there, and okay. Charlie's like, what the hell are we doing in the frat house? And he says, you're calling your future mate tonight. We're going to solve this thing. Or I swear, I'm going to become violent, angry. Whatever that means. Charlie being foolish. Okay, so 7 p.m. So they go into the front, the frat house, and they go into the elevator to go to the third floor, room 322. And Charlie enters into the key card, and they walk in and sit down. And Charlie says, "Damn it, call your main squeeze." And Jared's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes to his phone, and he calls Jennifer, and Charlie snatches it from him, and she answers, "Sweetheart, Jared here has something to say to you." And Jared's like, "Hello, darling." And she's like, "Nice to hear from you. It's been quite a while. But I flew out of Washington, D.C. Monday, and flight stranded in Chicago. But Daddy has me in a nice hotel with a cousin. And I should be in Houston sometime Saturday. Call me tomorrow. We'll make an arrangement to see each other before you go off to London." And Jennifer is asking, "Am I getting under your skin?" "In a good way, honey. Not like crazy Charlie. Don't let crazy Charlie fool you." So Charlie snatches the phone again away from Jared. "Yeah, what an idiot. Honey, he's obvious. He's too asinine to ask you a question over the phone. Let's get together. I want you." And Jennifer's like, she's kind of angry. "Save your breath, Charlie. Because if there's anyone I want in Texas, it's going to be JR." Okay, so it's 9 p.m. They just got through, after the conversation with Jennifer, they're listening to Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. And Charlie takes out a couple of vape pens. Roll one, vape one, Charlie said. "You see, JR, when you live like this, you're supposed to party." to celebrate. You just got one fake one. You just got one. I mean, we're young. After all, we're just having fun. So they sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm kind of like, JR, could bite off way more than you can chew. Alright, so now here we go. If I think, let's see. No, wrong one. Takes a little patience here to know what's going on here. Wrong one. It's taking some time here, guys. Okay, February 2nd. JR went home from the frat house with Charlie's stretch limo. He asked Lucinda to come to class and be his note taker because he's under the weather and we know why. He's thinking of his back of his mind, what have I done? 2 p.m., JR was able to go to government affairs in the strategic communications management class and everything. JR meets Charlie at the bus stop outside Holden Hall. We catch a bus to the University Center, go the Raider Express. Brad keeps calling, but I ain't saying nothing, JR said. And I just feel that my loving father will do anything to bow down and kiss ask him the hell of the rest of the family. And Charlie's like, believe me. And he's like, you know what to do. Get with Jennifer, Pop up the questions so you can jump the bones. And JR's like both of them. That's prep school talk, Charlie. I thought we'd gone way beyond that. Stop acting like a schoolboy. And Charlie's like, well, me and my family, we got more cash than you guys do. You want to watch Animaniacs with me? And JR's like, no, I can't, Charlie. I have to write a short 1-page paper about what's known as value statements from my communications management class. Okay, 4 p.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., most of the snow was melted. There's still some. And with Mrs. Dietrich speaking at a convention, Jim decides to get into his new Cadillac and drive her here to speak. Earlier that day, Claude had returned to the condo to be with Janet. Okay, 6 p.m. Central. Better Burgers is the recipe made by Sister Adam's dinner. It's a tomato sauce, hamburger meat, cheese, onions, and garlic, all between two slices of hamburger bread buns. Jared sits down with Brent Clark. So how's it going bunking with burnout? Brent asks. Burnout is right. I'm starting to wonder about him. And Brent's showing concern. He's like, JR, man, don't try to do this alone. You have any more problems, come talk to me. talked to Reverend Wilson, talked to Mary Jones, to Reverend Jones, and Gerald's like, yeah, man, what's up with Stoney? He's missing breakfast and everything like that. And he says, well, you haven't been there either. Look at what happened today. Besides, there's this legislator named Robert Duncan who I got to give on big thanks to your cousin and my girlfriend Jessie. And JR, I don't know. Ever since he bunked with Charlie, he's getting kind of snappy. Don't get any ideas about my cousin. He's like, don't be crazy. You know, I'm engaged to Jessie. Okay, 8 p.m. JR is studying in the room at the Center for Public Affairs with Sally Blackwell, who is reading his textbook when his cell phone rings. You know, it's his mother. And she's like, you staying warm and safe? And he said, nice. Doing good, Mama. And she says, look, I know you want to marry Jennifer Bowers, but don't rush it. You know, don't try to do this just because you're mad at your dad. The judge's like, I know, Mama. I'm not going to beg you to call him because I appreciate the fact that you're angry with him. Okay? Okay, this podcast is getting awfully long, so please bear with me. I see now that we've got... Oh, okay, we still got quite a bit of time. Good. Alright, 1 a.m. Eastern. Jim is up and reading the Fort Worth Times. The front page had a feature article by Brent Clark interviewing State Representative Robert Duncan, who wanted to put an end to the Robin Hood education policy, taking from richer school districts and giving to the poor school districts. And, you know, Duncan wants to get rid of that. And Jim's like, how damn that kid writes a good piece. Okay, 6:30 a.m. So Lubbock. It's a choice of cinnamon rolls, cereal or breakfast cheese wrap. That's for breakfast. And JR takes his tray and sits alongside Brent Clark and C.B. Coleman. It's like Charles Stoney even shows up for meals or devotionals that much anymore. But JR is back. And Stevie says, look, someone says he has a demanding semester. I think I can see that, Stevie says. So, JR, how is life in Potheadville? And JR said, he left me alone last night after we grabbed a snack, and so I could study. And Brent says, yeah, I came in at 10 last night, and someone told me that he was up there watching TV, and he didn't get up until about 11 o'clock, and he was carrying on such a way. Old man Bledsoe came and jumped on him and told him to go back where he belongs. And JR's like, one time I actually agree with old man Bledsoe, because there's a lot. No word yet from Jennifer, but I have a lovely time last night with Sally Blackwell. Okay. So it's obvious, he's torn between Jennifer Karen Kreider and Sally Blackwell, okay? And he said, you know Sally Blackwell? May want to marry you? For sure. Her rich uncle wants you to marry her. Okay, so it's 9 a.m. Eastern, and Jim is he's got his own separate bedroom now, and he's watching the press conference that Bill Mayer's doing. Okay, 3 p.m., JR and Charlie on the private jet on the way. 4 p.m., Betsy greets JR, Charlie, and Mike Fields at the airport. They go to the mansion in Gainesville. 4 p.m. Eastern. Christine gets a call from Mark Wilkinson, the director of marketing and loans to small business, saying that they're processing the application alone. 6 p.m. Central. Frustrated by his father trying to mess up things with him and his sister, Jared goes into the bedroom and vapes, like a little small bit. But they have to be in order to go to a steakhouse tonight. Now it's 9 p.m. In the bedroom, Jared and Charlie, they're high. And Charlie's like, man, Jared, they can just keep doing things in between the board against your dad just keeps getting better and better. And Jared's like, better. Woof. Now with that, I hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's going to get more interesting from